What's going on, guys? We are live. My name is Tyson Smith. I'm joined by Ellie Hernandez. We're doing Showdown, Blazers at the Warriors. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm still pretty hungover here, so I'm just trying to make it through the day, man. So bear with me, those of you watching. Right, I'm alive. I promise.
How was your New Year's Day?
I mean, it was okay, man. It was just what's up, Evan? How you doing, man? I've just been trying to stay alive, just trying to get through it, you know.
The question is, what time did you sleep until today? That's the real question.
Noon. Right. We didn't go to bed till like 4:30 though.
You were posting on social media and shit. I'm like, dude, this guy, I know he's drinking, man. I know he's drinking.
Yeah.
So we'll let a couple more people, some stragglers, fall in here. But thanks for joining us, guys. We appreciate it. Throw us a like real quick before you forget. Helps us out a lot. Thank you so much. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, whatever. Fucking MySpace. I don't know. Probably.
Did you know Justin Timberlake owns MySpace?
Yeah, I did know that. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, dude, he bought that shit for like $7 million or something weird.
I know, but he can't have gotten return on his investment for that, right?
Well, they use it as like I mean, I haven't really gone to check it out, but it's like bands and shit. They use it now to like interact with each other. I don't know, man.
How it is?
I'm pretty sure they just transitioned it into like a music thing. I don't fucking know, bro.
All right, so we're doing Blazers and Warriors. Is this a good game? I don't know. I mean, it seems juicy a little bit. We've got some names here. I feel like Steph and Dame can go off in this particular game. What do you think about this overall? We'll get into the Vegas lines. We'll get into the injuries. We'll get into all that stuff. We're going to start building maybe 20 minutes before lock. Yep, so, Ellie, tell me about this game. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got a hell of a lot of shooters, and you know what they say, shooters shoot. So, I think this is a great opportunity for Damien Lillard, CJ McCollum, Steph Curry, even Wiggins and fucking Kelly Oubre, right? I think they can all get going. This could just be just a goddamn overflow of fucking points. So I think it's going to be very interesting. I don't know how much defense is going to be in this game. I don't think Golden State really has much to really fight for. So I don't know if they're going to come out too aggressive on defense. I think it's just going to be a shitload of threes.
Well, look, Draymond Green's back. All right. So look, I'm not telling you to play Draymond Green. Obviously, we'll get into injuries here. He's going to be limited to 20 minutes. He's on a minutes limit. Don't play him. That would be my consideration. I mean, look, if you're doing 150 lineups, which I don't even know if there's contests right now for that for Showdown. I'm sure there is, but if you're doing a bunch of lineups, yeah, maybe you get him into a few, just in case if they want to throw him in there for more. But this is his first game back. He's old as hell. I would not consider playing him in more than one or two lineups, and we're not going to build with him at all. And I think when we get to our fate of the night, you can pretty much guess what at least one of us is going to be doing there. All right, so let's just move over to. Oh, anyways, I guess my point is with Draymond coming back, it sort of changes the dynamic of this Golden State team. I think less on the shoulders of Wiggins and Oubre, And I think this team is a little bit better with him back, but you're not going to want to consider him for fantasy-wise. So here are their Vegas lines here. Portland's favored on the road, minus 157, 61% win probability. The total here for Portland is high, 120. And same with Golden State at 116.5. There's a minus 3.5 spread, 236.5 over under. This seems like a pretty interesting, juicy game to me. And there's a lot of great plays. We're just going to have to fade some of these guys. We can't fit Dame, CJ, Steph. We can't fit. Well, maybe we can fit all those guys into a lineup depending on who our captain is. But we're going to play with that. So, what jumps out to you here? Both these teams are 2-2. Golden State is. I'm surprised they're 2-2 because they have been terrible this year. But maybe they're turning it around a little bit and a little bit more respectable. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I think this is going to be a fun game, right? I think the implied totals and just the game total kind of back me up when I'm talking about how much offensive firepower I think we're going to get. So I think this is about right on. Portland should be favored. They are a team that should be in the playoffs by the end of the season. So. Yeah. I do think that they should be favored. Golden State, they got that new center, James Wiseman or something like that. He's been doing all right. He did okay in the first 2 games. So I think that they're still really young. And I without Clay, I think they're kind of just trying to figure out what they are right now. So I do expect this to go Portland's way.
All right, so let's jump over to injuries. We actually have all the injury news we need here. I don't have injuries. It doesn't matter. We already have all the injury news we need. Draymond is in, so we're fine on that. What was our other news, Ellie?
Gary Trent Jr. is out.
Gary Trent Jr. is officially out, so those minutes, we're going to have to talk about those minutes. We're not exactly sure where they're going to go. I think they're going to be spread out more to Derek Jones maybe a little bit to Rodney Hood, maybe some to Carmelo. Like, what do you think? Like, and you guys in the chat, if you guys have any insight, please let us know, because this news just came through right when we started to go. So I haven't really gotten any updates as far as minute projections. There's been a few, but they've been a little bit vague and they've been kind of all over the place. Like, your sources are completely different than my sources. So where do you think those minutes go? Where do they go?
I mean, we did see Anthony Simons. Some of his minutes projections went up by about 6 or 7 minutes. They're still low, so he's interesting. But it definitely looks like we saw this the other night. It looks like they may be getting Rodney Hood a little bit more involved than what we anticipated. So he may not be the fantasy point per minute guy. But if he's going to get 16, 17 minutes, whereas Simon's only going to get 10 to 12, I think that Rodney Hood might, they might start moving some of those minutes from Trent over there to Hood. And he's a shooting guard and a small forward. He kind of plays that 2-3 position. So I think he fills that backup role directly to Trent a little bit better. But again, this isn't a team that. This team has a wealth of firepower kind of at the guard position, so I don't know how they're going to spread it out.
Like Joshua was saying, I mean, I think some of those minutes do go to Melo, like at least a few, because Melo's been averaging about 24 this year. I have him projected at 25, but on Roto-Grinders, they're saying 28, or was that AMF?
No, that's Roto-Grinders.
The 28. So you're looking between 25 to 28 minutes, and he's a 1 fantasy point per minute kind of guy, I think.
I mean,
my formula here, of course.
And Carmelo can go off. I mean, we all know that we could get no fucking points from Melo, or we can go get 45 for no reason.
So this is something to keep an eye on here with that. I just don't know exactly where those minutes are going to go. So Hood gets a boost. I think Anthony Simons gets. And look, we wouldn't be talking about these guys on main slate, but this is Showdown. Any of these guys can go off and be the difference. So let's look at our starters, Ellie. Do you have those? Do you have starters up?
I don't. I can pull that screen. Hold on.
Here, let me just refresh here. All right, so for the Blazers, no real surprises here. We've got Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum, Derek Jones Jr., Robert Covington, and Yusuf Nurkic. On the other side, we've got Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, Draymond Green, and James Wiseman. Obviously, Draymond's going to be limited to 20 minutes. We already mentioned that. So who's our guys off the bench? Like, who's some of our top selections off the bench here? Can we consider Pascal? He was questionable, but I hate him. He killed me the first game of the season. Damian Lee, Brad Wanamaker, who for the Warriors can we consider off the bench? Because there's going to be the ownership is going to go heavily towards Portland, and most of my builds, there were at least 4 Portland players in my build, 4-2 stacks, if not 5-1 stacks. So I don't think I think we're going to have to do 3 3s or 4 2s here. What are your thoughts on roster construction, and who can we get off the bench from the Warriors here?
I really don't think you have too many options. I think Pascal's fine. Damian Lee's interesting if he ends up getting some minutes. And then Kevon Looney, right? If James Wiseman gets into any foul trouble, he might get some minutes. At 3,500, he can get a couple boards or whatever. Honestly, I'm going to be targeting the starters, the starting 5. With Draymond Green being back, that's 19 to 20 minutes. That's going to be taken from all of these guys. Yeah. Dre does run a little bit of point guard. He'll run whatever position he needs to play, right, to make the offense work. And even if he's not performing, he is eating up those minutes. So I think that kind of just lowers my expectations for all these guys. Honestly, I'm just much more interested in trying to find the right guy from Portland to make my lineups work, because that's really where you're going to need to go. All right, just too much. There's too many fucking bench guys. It could be Jordan Poole, Mulder, Kent Bazemore, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah, so. This is kind of interesting. And look, we're not going to predict or project a blowout, but we just don't know. This season, there's been so many blowouts to start the year. COVID related, teams aren't practicing. I don't know what the deal is, but the blowouts have been pretty bad. I'm not going to build lineups based on blowouts. It's just impossible. Like, I'm not going to typically do that. I'll do that for NFL with garbage time. Like, if I think a team that's underdogs, that they're going to get their ass kicked, I'll specifically put in some wide receivers, because I think at the end of the game, they're going to have a little bit more opportunity, but I'm not doing that with NBA Showdown. So let's take a look. Let's just jump into our breakdown. All right. So I want to show you guys. I want to share this screen with you guys. We did this yesterday. I felt like it did a pretty good job helping us visualize the captain spot. So what I did was I crunched out 250 lineups per captain, right? And I took the highest projected points, the top ceiling, the top floor, per captain. I found those best lineups. And if you take a look at this, it looks like Robert Covington looks like a really good GPP captain. His highest projected points are a little bit lower, like 4 points off the optimal. But his top ceiling is like 9 points above the Nurkic lineups. His, standard deviation at this point of the year doesn't really matter too much, but if you're counting that, he has the highest, cumulative standard deviation. He has the top floor, and he has the top amount of minutes. So, look, I think Steph Curry and Dame Lillard are obviously the best projected lineups. They're going to be the highest owned at captain. But what jumps out to you here? Who are you avoiding based on this particular graphic, and who are you embracing?
I'm interested in Robert Covington. I think he's a decent play in cheaper field GPPs. He shouldn't be too crazy owned at the captain spot, and he's going to give you some flexibility in jamming in the other pieces. Because one thing I had noticed a little bit was I was looking at correlation between Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Although Damian Lillard hasn't been putting up the points, they tend to go off at the same time this year, which is not consistent with what we've seen in the past. Yeah. And given that this is game 5, may as well just keep following the trend. So I think it's going a little bit more middling at the captain tonight might make sense, because if Damian Lillard has a performance at 45 points, I mean, it may not be enough to break the slate, but it probably will crush you if both he and CJ go off and you don't have him. So that's kind of why I think Robert Covington is a good play here.
And Robert Covington was popping in main slate too, and we were kind of confused as to why exactly. It's not like he was getting a huge uptick in minutes, or there was, like I was a little confused as to why exactly this particular game he was just chalk. And I think that's going to probably move over into Showdown as well, into late night slate. So if you're looking at this, I think Covington may be popular in the flex. I don't know that anybody's going to play him in the captain, but I think you have to consider him. Just looking at these raw numbers here, I think you're just going to have to consider him. Are you considering Wiggins at captain? I know he's a GPP. He has a GPP upside, but I don't know that you can consider him. You'll be different. At least there's that, but I don't know that you can consider him.
No, not really. I don't have much interest. Like I said, I really want Steph Curry and then maybe some Wiseman. I don't know really. It may be a little bit of Oubre. I'm still undecided of who I'm taking specifically from the starting five. It concerns me with Draymond Green coming back. So I think Wiggins might be the best beneficiary of it because he can play the perimeter and try and get his open threes. But I don't know.
Ellie, we need to get you a drink, dude.
Bro, I don't want to drink. I don't want to fucking drink right now.
Drink, man. That's going to make you feel so much better, man. So CJ or Lillard, if you had to choose one, Ryan, I'm going to go with Lillard for me personally. So, yeah. What about you, Ellie?
I think I like CJ. He's been on a tear. He's probably going to play 36 minutes tonight. So he's averaging like 1.4 fantasy points per minute.
Yeah. So Noah, you haven't missed much. We've just been talking about injuries and stuff. We're gonna get to our lineup builds here really quick, and we'll share that stuff with you guys. So Hood, this is really interesting, and we'll get to Hood. But I think I actually ended up with like a lot of Hood. Like I panicked quickly before we went live, and I wanted to get my 20 lineups in, and I have like 50% Hood, and I'm really nervous about it. I figured that he would potentially be the biggest benefactor to the news, and getting some of those more minutes. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. What are your thoughts on Hood?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's fine. Again, my issue with him has always been his fantasy points per minute. He's not a high usage guy, but he can get going. And at that price tag, you just need 10 points, 8 points fantasy wise to be in the optimal.
So let me share my Excel sheet here 1 second. And that's what we need to look at. I think that the conversation here is, I mean, Derek Jones Jr. is getting the minutes, and I think he's going to get even more minutes tonight. But look at that, fantasy points per minute, 0.45. Yeah. I mean, that's fucking terrible. And somehow he was kind of chalky for main slate. I expect him to be high owned for this because at 4,000, he makes it really easy to be able to fit in, Dame, Curry, Nurkic, some Covington. I think he makes it really easy. But I'm going to avoid playing Derek Jones Jr. today. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, can we go down to Rodney Hood instead of DJ for this? I know that it's a big jump, and we're talking about half the minutes. But honestly, the fantasy points per minute isn't too much better. So if you wanted to get away from Derek Jones, could you just go Carmelo, pay up $800 and go to Carmelo?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Honestly, I don't think Rodney Hood is a terrible punt option either, though. I mean,
yeah.
And again, here, pay attention to who you're using projections from, because Anthony Simons at $1,000 in 14 minutes, right? If he gets over 12 minutes, he's not a terrible play at $1,000. So I think it's kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't see the interest necessarily in Derek Jones Jr. If somebody else in the chat happens to know anything about why he's popular today,
it's got to be priced in minutes, and obviously with NBA, we're looking at minutes first. Those projections, obviously, those are median projections. So yeah, they kind of matter when you're comparing to other players at similar price tags. But getting 33 minutes at 4,000 salary here is very appealing. I just don't think he touches the ball when he's on the court, and that's kind of the most important thing, right? I mean, yeah, you can get all the minutes you want, but if you're not doing anything, it doesn't really freaking matter. So
Who's he going to take usage away from though? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
unless if he's starting and running with the one, so you mean he's going to fucking be with CJ and Dame? Why would Derek Jones have the ball in his hands other than to shoot or play defense? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, he literally shouldn't have the ball. So I don't get why he's such a high guy. At least Rodney Hood or Simons, they're gonna have ball handling opportunities because they're not always going to be playing with CJ and Dame. So that's something to keep in mind too.
So let's just talk about salary here real quick. So Steph Curry at 10.6K, you got Damian Lillard at 11.2K. So these are going to be the two highest owned guys. Obviously, they're priced up. The game we did yesterday, we didn't have anybody above 10,000, so it made building a little bit easier, and we had some good, low end options. So this is going to be interesting, especially considering, we just don't know if the Warriors can keep up with this team. So we're going to have to get interesting. Basically, when I crunched out a ton of lineups, almost all of them were 4-2s or 5-1s. So just based on projections and based on roster construction, like I feel like the ownership is going to go so heavily towards Portland here. So if we wanted to get a little bit more balanced 3-3s, I think we should try to build 3-3s tonight and see how that is. See if it's even possible to get a lineup we like, because I wasn't getting almost any 3-3. Excuse me. So with Damian Lillard at 11.2K, Steph Curry at 10.6K, we've got CJ McCollum at 9.8K. So he's up there. He's only $800 cheaper than Steph Curry. Get Curry, and like the usage is there. So 32% usage. Obviously, Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry is going to be able to just focus on shooting a little bit more tonight with Draymond back. I know he's only going to be in for 20 minutes, but it's going to really help those 20 minutes. Nurkic at 8.2K, another great option. He's only projected around 27 minutes. He's right around 1 fantasy points per minute. His average this year has been 26.5 minutes, but look at his usage at 17.6. That's not good. Enes Cantor is up there with him when it comes to usage. So you're relying heavily on rebounds, blocks, that kind of thing with him, and he can get you there. So when it comes to the top tier, and you have Drew at 800. When it comes to the top tier, who are your favorite guys, Lillard or CJ today for you?
I like CJ better, but that doesn't mean that I don't like Damian Lillard. I want to try and get a lineup with both of them in there, but if I have to prioritize, it's going to CJ. He's been consistently performing these first few games of the season. So that's fine. I like him. Damian Lillard, he just hasn't paid off his price tag yet. I think everybody's still kind of riding that high of him being priced in the 10K area for main slate back in when he went on that tear, right? So I think he's still he's overly priced in showdown and main slate formats right now. I think he's going to come down a little bit more. He should be closer to about where Steph's at. If that happened, I'd have a lot more exposure, but I think he's just going to be too popular for me, and I think I'll come under the field on him. But on the Golden State side, obviously the only guy I want to prioritize is Steph Curry. I think you kind of have to rotate Wiggins and Oubre from there and see what the fuck you like. I don't know, man.
Oubre is $1,400 cheaper. So with Draymond coming in, does that free Oubre up a little bit more? Like where do we get fantasy points from Oubre? It's probably not a lot of scoring from him,
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're projected. They're projected for what 100 and what did we have them for? 114 team total or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Steph Curry's not going to score 60 of it. He might, but that still leaves 55 real points for somebody. So I think that's going to go primarily to Wiggins and Oubre if they hit that team total. But it's very possible that both guys shoot 0 for 27 again, like they did the other fucking night or whatever it was. So I don't know, man. I think I don't want to have both of them just because of that reason. You're going to lose out, but I think it's got to be one of those guys. That it has to be. That's the only reliable people that they're going to have to keep them in this game. Dre's not going to get enough minutes to really soak up a lot of that scoring potential. So I don't know, man. James Wiseman, is he going to have a ceiling performance like in his 5th career game? I don't know.
It's kind of tough to figure this out.
So
So
you got
in
to
the
balance
middle,
your exposure, I think.
so in the middle tier, you've got Oubre at 7,200, James Wiseman 6,800, Draymond Green. We won't even talk about him. Like I said, if you're just jumping on, don't play Draymond Green. He's only going to get 20 minutes max tonight. At 7,600, don't touch him. Who else? We've got Enes Cantor at 5,600, Robert Covington at 5,400. So Covington versus Camp Canter. It's a clear, obvious choice for Covington. You're talking about an additional, 10, 11 minutes. I know Cantor is getting 1.13 fantasy points per minute, which is almost double what Covington's getting. But Covington's getting he's getting the minutes, which is kind of important. And if you look at Covington's usage at less than 10, I'm just really curious. Once again, like I get the minutes thing and I get the price thing, but why is he so popular? Why is he such a good play? Like, why is he projecting out so well if he's just not performing that great? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's really his salary versus kind of the points per minute production. I mean, if we built this out, he'd probably be one of the better points per dollar per fantasy point projection plays that there is, right? Let's see what RG has on that. And they don't have that added here. But yeah, I think that's really the big thing. And, he's not going to get offensive usage for the most part, but he does have rebound upside. He has defensive upside on, that side of the court. So I think he does have the potential to get you a couple steals, a couple blocks, and, 6 or 7 rebounds. And if he hits a couple of his threes, then you got 3-pointers and then the 3-point bonus. So I think it adds up pretty quickly. You're not just relying on one part of his game, like Damien Lillard, right? If he doesn't score 35 real life points, he's really not going to get anything else. He might have 5 assists or 5 rebounds, but you're not going to get that. You're not going to get the balance that you will from Covington. So that's why I think he's interesting. And again, 32 minutes, he's going to be in the starting rotation. And Golden State just isn't good.
Yeah. It's not a hot take either. So look, this just feels like a Dame Lillard, Steph Curry battle tonight. Like, you remember last year, Lillard just absolutely, what did he have? Like 8 games in a row where he just went the fuck off. And I'm not saying he's going to score 50 real life points in this game, but it just feels like this is a Damian Lillard, Steph Curry back and forth in the fourth quarter kind of a game. I hope so. You know what I mean? I really hope so. What do you think about that? Like, can this be a game where both of these stars go off?
Yeah. I just think CJ goes off with them. They're a good handcuff right now. I think. Is
this like playing a starting running back and backup running back for an NFL showdown in the same lineup?
Yeah, kind of, man. I think. There's too much usage between the two there. I mean, look at that. That is 60% of the team's usage is going through Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, right? Yeah. So like, I don't know how you don't play them. They're going to be on the court for that minutes per game average is low. I mean, I even think this projected minutes is low for them. If this game stays close at all, they could play 41, 42 minutes. And I know that's crazy to say, but I don't see why not. I mean, who's scoring? Maybe Nurkic is going to score some points, but if they score 120 points, right, it's coming from CJ and Damian Lillard. So that's really kind of my point there. I think both are in play, and I honestly I want all the guards. I want all 3 of them: Curry, Lillard, McCollum.
One last thing I wanted to bring up, and then we're going to move on to our fades. We're going to do our captain. We're going to do our lineup build, and then we're going to just shoot the shit until lock. Talk about ownership once we hit lock. So stick with us, throw us a like. We really appreciate it. So my last question here, Ellie, is Wiggins and Oubre in the same lineup. Can we do that?
Yeah. I mean, sure.
Look at that usage. Like look at the usage. Oubre at 23, Wiggins 25, and Curry at 32. If you wanted to be unique and spend all your salary on Curry, Wiggins, and Oubre, as long as this Warriors team stays in it and it's not a blowout, and this is actually hitting the over potentially, you're going to get all the usage from one side. Like, you're going to get a majority of all the usage just by playing those three guys, and then run it back with Covington at captain. Like, you'll be able to afford, four of these guys, like Dame Lillard, and then those top three players from Golden State. Does that entice you at all, or do you want to stay away from that?
Sure. I mean, look, when I'm trying to be objective for building for Showdown, if I don't know what to do, I'll just look at the usage, right? And yeah. I know it can be a bit of an overestimation, but eventually having a shitload of usage you're gonna have mean regression. You're gonna have a better chance to hit whatever target you usually hit when you're on, if that makes sense. So I definitely think that there's definitely a world that we see Kelly Oubre hit the ceiling that he was hitting on the Suns last year, right towards the end of the season. So I mean, and we all know what Andrew Wiggins can do. I just don't know if he's the same guy anymore. So we'll see, man. I think it's viable, but it's risky.
All right. So let's move over to our fade of the night, Ellie. What do you think?
Yeah, real quick. You see Ohio State's up 35-14?
No, I did not see that. Did you have money on that game?
Yeah, it doesn't matter because that fucking bullshit touchdown at the end of the other game ruined my parlay. So,
oh, well, fuck it.
What's your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony.
All right, so who are we telling to fuck off here, Ellie? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, this was before the news came out. But even then, I guess it kind of solidifies my point. Draymond Green, there's for sure a world in which he can get there in 20 minutes. But I think that world was like 4 years ago. So look, I don't fucking play him.
Yeah,
on to you.
Exactly. Look, Derek Jones Jr., I think he's the best, or one of the best salary saving options because of his minutes. I just don't like those fantasy points per minute. It's just not my thing. And I think everyone's just going to go to him. They're going to say, oh, this is the guy we got to play. His ownership is going to be inflated. To me, I just don't love it. That's just me. Oubre captain, try to build with that. Damien Lee, we'll talk about Damien Lee. That's interesting. I think Damien Lee's, I like him. We all saw him last year go off, and but I just don't see him. I haven't seen it this year, so it's hard to kind of guess. So let's go to our captain option here. Denny Green, hit it.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
So Ellie, tell me about your choice here. Robert Covington.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is more like I'll play one or two lineups like this. I just like it. I think you can jam in Steph, Dame, and CJ with him at captain, and then not have to drop too low in some of the other positions. I don't recommend doing a 20 max with all fucking 20 of him at captain, right? That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying, like, I think this is an interesting lineup to get different, an interesting way to get different tonight without getting too crazy. Because I want to get some of these guards, man. I want all of them in the same lineup.
Yeah, I agree. Steph Curry, for me, this is the kind of guy that I think can absolutely go off in this particular game. I think you're gonna need one of these top guys, in my opinion. I mean, NBA Showdown is just a lot different than NFL Showdown, where you can put a backup tight end or a second string wide receiver who catches an 80-yard touchdown, and that'll win you a lot of money. In the NBA, I think it's a little bit different. I think you're going to have to stick with the stars. I like Robert Covington, though, at captain. Just the numbers were working out. I just don't know how physically it's gonna happen. But we'll see. We'll see. I like Dame Lillard tonight as well. So Steph Curry, Dame, and Robert Covington. And look, Nurkic is also a good option. I know we're throwing out a ton of different captains here, but the goal is to find the optimal captain and then diversify from there. So, all right. So you want to get into a lineup build, Ellie?
Let's do it, dude.
You want to pop up lineup HQ?
Yeah, I got it up. While we're switching, type in the chat who you want to see us build with. I think we should start with Oubre as per request. Yeah,
let's do Oubre captain first.
Cool.
Which is interesting. We're talking large field GPP right here.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I have a single entry I have to fucking enter. So One of these lineups, I'm going to enter into my single entry for sure.
Okay, so if we're doing Kelly Oubre captain, I think this is probably a shootout, right?
Gotta be.
So
Gotta be.
Let's just do that right off the bat.
58. Is that 5,800 left?
Yeah. So
we got to just go low. Just go to maybe Hood or Damien Lee. I'd say Hood for this lineup.
Yeah, I agree.
That leaves us with how much?
8,000.
8,000. That's not bad. So do we want to go mid-range for the last two spots, or do we want to go stars and scrubs again? That means we're punting at two positions.
Let's see.
Wiseman. So get one more Golden State guy in. Or 4-2. Fuck it. This is
ballsy.
This is a little ballsy here. A little bit ballsy. But these are the kind of dumbass lineups you see randomly win showdown solo. I like that better. Nurkic.
Now, I mean, with that much salary on the table, we might be able to go a little bit. Do we have anybody at 2,400 we like?
I don't think so.
Jordan Poole.
Poole, I'm not gonna go with now. Fuck that.
Yeah, I still prefer the minutes here.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Right. Do a Robert Covington captain. I want to see. I kind of want to see how easy it is to build, and also look at our projections here, our top projected lineup here, and hit us up in the chat. What do you guys want to see? What kind of captain build do you want to see? Do you want to see heavy Golden State build? Do you want to see heavy Portland builds? Let us know. Simons. That's a deep GPP play there for sure.
Yeah, we don't need to go that low. So
what about Lee? If you got Covington, try Lee. Maybe in lieu of like Oubre or Wiggins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's see. What does that leave us with? 6,500.
Damien Lee projected for 16 fantasy points. He's right under a minute. Actually, I want to look at the rotations here. Let's check this out here real quick. I'm gonna switch back to mine here real quick.
Okay.
I want to look at the rotations and actually look into Damien Lee and see what we got here.
I mean, I don't hate this while we have this one up.
I switched over. Sorry.
Okay. No worries.
All right. So Ellie, take a look at this too. So Damien Lee, last game in a win over, the Pistons. Damien Lee had 18 minutes, 13 usage, 8 points. He was +9. DK, he had 14 fantasy points. So nothing to write home about, but you see this here. He's got a nice end of the first quarter, middle of the second quarter stretch, and then we don't see him again until the fourth quarter, and then he got garbage time minutes here at the end. So if he can actually end up, so who's off the court while he's on it? Oubre. So if you want to go Oubre instead of, if you wanted to go Damien Lee instead of Oubre, I think that's your option. I don't think you want to play both these guys in the same lineup. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Was Oubre in foul trouble or something? Or is this rotation just set up to cover when Wiggins is off the court?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't know why he didn't play. He only played the last, 4 minutes of the fourth quarter? Yeah, Crispy, solid. I'm okay with McCollum and captain.
We're gonna build a McCollum lineup right here. Let's do it right now. So we'll switch back over to you, Ellie. Pull back up.
What'd you think about this lineup with Covington real quick while we have it up?
Oh, yeah. So look at that. That's actually nice. So Damien Lee, 900 remaining, 215 fantasy points projected. I'm going to have to write this down. Like, we should write down these lineup builds that we're doing here. 215. All right. So build a actually, hang on. Keep that up real quick. I'm going to take a fucking photo of that real quick. Oh, never mind. Who'd you have? You had Robert Covington. Who else did you have?
Lillard, Covington. Steph, of course.
All right. While you're building the McCollum captain here, I'm gonna enter that one.
Oh, that's right. Okay. All right. So McCollum. I mean, look, I don't. If you're doing him at captain, you have to decide whether or not you want to fade Lillard or not. You guys want to build with Lillard or without?
It's awfully quiet in the chat there.
Yeah, they're just watching. All right, let's see. I still kind of like Hood for this. I mean, look, if I'm gonna. Oh shit.
Yeah, look. If we had to go if we had to pick my favorite salary saver for large field tournaments is going to be Hood. That's just me personally. We haven't built anything with Carmelo Anthony yet. Maybe we should think about that. He's going to get an uptick in minutes. He's got fresh legs. We should think about Carmelo.
Just throw him in. I mean, again, this is a 4-2, but I'm not terribly upset with that. I mean, look. CJ, Dame, Steph, Rod Hood, Melo, Kelly Oubre. Want to go James Weissman, you can. Canter. I mean, you got some flexibility with this lineup. I actually kind of like this. This will probably be fairly chalky. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to answer this.
Yeah. This is the interesting thing about doing a live show when you're coming up on lock, especially with only 2 people. Most of the shows do it with 3, and they can just have one dude who doesn't even play fantasy just fucking talk. All right. Who do you guys want to see next at captain? We should do a. Let's see. Where's my? Let me bust this out again real quick. So we should do a Wiggins captain. Oh, you know what? Here. Let's do Melo. Let's do Melo at captain. Since we have
okay.
Yes, let's try that. Looks like we got about 17, 18 minutes left until lock.
We'll run Damien Lee captain. I can do that for you. Look, I don't suggest doing that unless you think he's going to go hit 35 fantasy points. But we can do it for sure.
Let's do it. Why not? Why the fuck?
No, for sure. I love building lineups like that. And you can see kind of the point projection. It's not the variance isn't always that high, so it's not as terrible of a play as it might sound. All right, so if we're doing Melo, we're not fading any of the superstars. Fuck it. I mean, why not Andrew Wiggins? 2,600. I mean, if you want to go Brad Wanamaker, he's going to play point for 15 minutes. That's interesting.
I mean, you could get some Wanamaker.
I mean, that's going to fill your it's going to take up your entire salary, so it may be a little chalky.
Yeah, but you've got Carmelo Anthony, a captain. You don't have to worry about that. He's going to be 2%.
Yeah.
3%.
I agree.
So do whatever the fuck you want. Play whoever you want.
I kind of like that lineup. I don't know if I'm ready to submit that one, though. Load up all the stars. Yeah, you can. All right. So
look, one interesting thing with with Covington and Wiggins, you can load up all the starters. In that here, actually, I'm going to bring up that for anybody who's just joining us on the stream. I want to bring up this graphic one more time. This is. Let me share the screen. So this graphic basically represents 250 lineups crunched out with each captain, and you get to kind of see where some of the top projected lineups end up with these guys at captain. So Wiggins and Covington at captain, you get all the starter minutes. You don't have to rely on these random dudes off the bench. So if that appeals to you, go for it. I think Covington is the safer play. Andrew Wiggins is the kind of guy at captain that can win you a tournament if he has his, once every 2 months where he goes off. I'm not going to play a lot of Andrew Wiggins at captain. That's just me. Sort of middle of the road is Nurkic, but if you look at Dame Lillard and Steph Curry, those are going to be your most popular guys. You're going to want to focus on, if you're in non-large field tournaments, I would just play either one of those guys. Don't think about it too much. But the interesting thing with CJ McCollum is like his top projected lineup with him at captain. I don't get it. At 218 compared to Andrew Wiggins' top lineup at 2. I mean, he's way off of that. So that just, excuse me, that kind of like pushed me off of McCollum a little bit. That's just me personally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think you kind of just got to get whatever you want there, right, man? You got to you're going to have to build with one of these guys. I think.
Oh, sorry, dude. I'm sharing your screen again. So.
Okay. So real quick, I got the Damien Lee captain up. There's a couple different variations you can get with this one. I mean, this isn't awful. I don't hate it, right?
All starter. Yeah, look at that.
215 projected points. What did we have with the other lineups you're building?
215 was that one.
Yeah, so I mean, you're not too far off the optimal projection, and you're fucking punting your captain and hoping Damien Lee can have a 30 fantasy point night. But I mean, you're getting everybody here. Yeah. All right, who do you want to build with now? Let's
do a. Did we do a Steph Curry one already?
No, we didn't.
Let's do that because that's going to be Steph Curry and Dame Lillard. Those are going to be the most popular lineups. Let's figure out how we can fit in one or maybe two punts and see where we are and see if we're comfortable with that.
Okay.
You got Lillard. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. All right. Who do you want? So do you want to fade CJ?
I want to fade CJ.
Okay.
So to me, I think you should. I think play. Play Covington here, or you can play Carmelo. I think play Carmelo for this lineup because he's gonna be lower owned, and Curry's gonna be the highest owned captain or second highest owned captain.
And Melo has upside on
Melo has upside, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Who else do you want? You looking for another cheap guy?
Let's do a 4-2. Let's do a 2-4 here. Let's try this. Let's do one of Wiggins or Oubre, or we can go Damian Lee, depending on how that goes. And then let's plug in 4 Portland players. So let's get. So we've got D. Lillard. We've got Anthony. We're fading McCollum for this particular lineup. What do we have? 54-50 left. Let's plug in Hood. That's a great question, actually. I don't know that any of these guys are good in cash. Like Wiggins and Oubre in cash, Ellie? That's a tough question. I'd rather just go with somebody from Portland.
Yeah, maybe if you have to choose, probably Oubre just because he's 7,200.
Yeah,
and
good point.
I mean, let's see.
So, do we even need Hood here?
I don't know. Let's see what we can get. Yeah, it looks like Oubre's. I mean, 20, 22, 28 points. That's fine.
Hey guys, we're at 13 likes on YouTube. Get us up to 20. Help us out. Get us up to 20. Smash that like button. So Rodney, 9,500. Is that a Wiggins? No, but we want to go. Well, we don't have to go 4-2 or 2-4.
What if we go like this?
Nurkic. There you go.
And then instead of Kelly Oubre, we can't quite get there. Okay.
Almost.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Still, I mean, I don't mind that. We're still leaving a decent amount on the table.
So I think with Hood, and if you put Hood and Carmelo Anthony in the same lineup, you're going to be unique. I know that Curry is going to be super popular. What do you think Curry's captain ownership is going to be? 25, 30%?
I think I'll be probably about 20, 25. I don't know if it's going to get too crazy.
Do you think Lillard will be higher, or do you think because Lillard hasn't been the sexiest option this season, do you think he'll be the second highest owned captain?
I think honestly, I think it's going to be pretty close between the top three there, Lillard, Curry, and McCollum. I think they're going to be fairly balanced as far as ownership goes. Steph should be a little bit higher than the two, simply because he is everything on the Warriors. So
Yeah.
I think he might be about 3 or 4% higher with CJ and Dame coming in pretty close to the same, around 20 to 18%.
All right, let's do a Dame Lillard lineup real quick.
Captain Lillard. And let's fade CJ again. What do you think?
That's what I like to do. That's just me.
Go Wiggins, because we got Oubre in the last one. Let's see.
I think Lillard, Curry are locks in every one of my lineups. That's not some hot take here, but I'm gonna slightly be under the field on McCollum, and I think you're gonna have to make a decision on Wiggins or Oubre, and I'm more likely to lean towards Wiggins in large field tournaments.
Yeah,
221. That's pretty good. So Simons, can you get up? Who else can you get up to? Can you get up to Hood just in case?
Yeah, you can get Hood too.
1.8. Oh yeah, so you can go Hood or Simons. Dude, I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna enter this.
That's actually really good. That's a good dude. That's a good single entry right there. Hang on, I'm gonna change my single entry. Yeah, that's a way better single entry. What kind of tournaments are you guys playing? Do you guys play cash in NBA Showdown? I sure as fuck don't. What do you guys playing?
Every once in, or I play a 3-man every once in a while. That's pretty fun for this.
Yeah, but like a straight up like 50-50 on Showdown. I just don't fuck with it. It's just there's too much variance. It's just my opinion. Wiggins. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go Derek Jones. I faded him in my 20 max. I'm gonna play him in my single entry. Rodney Hood. Nurkic. Yeah, that's a good single entry right there, man.
All right. There we go. I got that one submitted. How many more lineups do I have to put in here? All right. I need one more. And it's only 1,500 player contest, so I don't have to get too crazy. All right. Who should we do it, Captain? Let's see. Who do I want in my last lineup? How many more lineups do you have to submit?
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. How many lineups are you guys playing typically? Are you doing 20 maxes? Are you guys doing single entries for NBA Showdown? I'm still getting into the flow of NBA this year, especially Showdown. But, the concepts between NFL and NBA are relatively the same. It's just more about minutes. How many lineups are you guys typically playing? Just one? Yeah. I might actually end up, when we're doing these shows, I might actually end up doing, not doing the 20 max. It's just too difficult to adjust to news. I'm running the whole show here. I can't really pull up Fantasy Cruncher and crunch out a bunch of lineups. So single entry Showdown. Yeah, I think that's the way to go, man. I've been really digging single entry, Noah. Like I really like it because it's a little bit more forgiving, but you still have the upside of a a couple $1,000 and to first if you can be unique enough, but you don't have to. If one of your guys just doesn't hit his ceiling, you're not completely screwed. You can still double your money.
I kind of like this one, 223.
Oh, here, let me switch back over to you, bro. Steph Curry, McCollum Lillard, Simons, Carmelo Anthony, Kelly Oubre. We got 6 minutes to lock, guys. Get your shit in. So, Ellie, tell me about when it comes to single entry, how different you have to be. We're not getting ownership projections all the time. Like tonight, we didn't get any ownership projections from Osimo or RG, right? Is there any ownership projections there? That's all from main slate, right?
Yeah, everything's from main slate on this. But I mean, you can use that to kind of get an idea of what everything's going to come in at.
Yeah, but still, it's just completely different. So, like, if you don't have ownership projections, do you just have to guess? Like, would you recommend just kind of guessing? And like, for me personally, I like literally typing out projections, ownership projections, and just kind of seeing if I like them or not. And then I could just use that to build. You know what I mean? Would you do something like that ever?
Yeah, honestly, I recommend doing it. It's a good way to keep track of it, and plus you can go back and back test your method, right?
Ryan, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate it.
You can kind of like reverse engineer what it's at. So I think it's definitely worth it.
5 minutes to lock. Stick with us till after lock. We're going to talk about actual ownership and see kind of. Let's get some predictions. So, what do you guys think for DK in large field tournaments? What do you think Damien Lillard's ownership is going to be at in the captain? And what do you think Steph Curry's ownership is going to be in the captain? I personally think Curry's is probably going to be 25 and Dame Lillard's maybe going to be 27, 28. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let us know. And then we'll check that. This for Draftkings, Georgie. And maybe eventually we'll get into some FanDuel. You know, it's very, very difficult to. It's a lot of extra work to figure out FanDuel as well, and I fucking hate FanDuel too. By the way, how many lineups are you building? How many do you have to get through, bro?
No, I'm done.
Done?
I want to see if I like anything better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. I think when I'm doing this show, I think I'll probably end up just doing like one single entry, and just based on what we're talking about, I'll just kind of enter it as we're shooting. 3 minutes to lock.
We'll come back to hood maybe here. 10-5.
I'm just playing sounds at this point.
This seems terribly stupid to run, but maybe.
What do you got here? McCollum, a captain. Curry, Oubre, Canter. I think Canter might be the guy that we're forgetting about.
I guess Rod Hood. Yeah, Canter. I definitely think that he's an easy pivot off of Robert Covington.
Totally. I think if you don't have Covington in the lineup, you should absolutely have Canter in that lineup.
He does. He obviously scares me because of the 20 minutes projection, but he's very high upside for points per minute, so he can definitely get you there.
Derek Jones Jr. at 32 minutes. And at that price, I mean, I would just lock him in usually. He just doesn't do anything for me.
He reminds me of Royce to 5'9", you know.
Royce to 5'9", yeah.
Yeah,
you're right. Or Joe Ingles or one of those dudes.
Like, look, I get it. In full disclosure, Royce was in the optimal, but like, I don't want to have to guess that right. That seems way too difficult to me.
So, Atlanta blew out Brooklyn. I had a ton of Atlanta stacks.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm just finally getting... Dude, fucking slow-mo. Kyle Anderson had 47 fantasy points.
Yeah, I figured. His usage is like 33% with all those, with John Morant and fucking Dylan Brooks, all those guys off the court.
Yeah.
And you know that they're setting it up so Dylan Brooks or Kyle Anderson is always out there until these guys get healthy. So
remind me to never play TLC from Brooklyn ever again. He's off my player pool forever.
He's one of those guys.
He's made the fucking list. John Collins, 36 fantasy point. Like, very disappointing.
Bro, yeah, I mean, I figured that game would have stayed close, too. That was my favorite game to target.
We have 1 minute to lock, guys. Get your shit in here. And then once we hit lock, we're going to talk about some ownership.
Oh, I have way too much fucking Rodney Hood. I do not like that.
Dude, I have... Hang on, actually. Let me share my... I'm going to share my Fantasy Cruncher screen here. This is scary because I literally did not even look at this shit because we were just about to go live and the news came out. So I don't know if you guys can see this. Here, let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah.
You got 100% little captain. Okay.
No. Sorry, this is the wrong crunch. This is my crunch here. So 95% Covington, of course. We're gonna discover this. We're gonna discover my exposure together here because I didn't even look at this. So Robert Covington, 95%. Andrew Wiggins. Well, let's hope he goes off. What'd you say?
At 5-1. Or that.
I know this 5-1.
Dude.
Dude, this is what I'm telling you, though. Bro, this is what I'm saying. These are like half the lineups are like this. You got Steph Curry or you got Andrew Wiggins as the one, and the rest all Portland. That was just how it was working out.
Steph is 90% owned. He's 28 at the captain. And Damon, CJ are both 16.
Wow, that was close.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at ownership here. Yeah, Dame Lillard, 68% overall.
Anthony Simons is 3%.
Oh, dude, what about Hood? Oh, Hood's 13%.
Oh yeah, then
Dude, that could be the guy, man. If Hood goes off, Draftkings has him projected for 4 fantasy points. Yeah, fuck you guys.
it's very possible, man. He's like a 0.5 per minute guy for 15 minutes, so 7.5 points. But
Yeah.
And if you're watching this with us, right? We intentionally built this way. Like we understand what we're doing, but
yeah.
I mean,
well, I have 55% Rodney Hood, so I think I'm a little bit above the field, just a little bit. And I've got Wiggins is coming in right around 50% owned, so I have 65%. That's not too bad.
Oubre is like 30%.
Oh, Oubre 32.
Mm-hmm.
Nurkic 30. I'm kind of right around the field. I have 50% Curry. Enes Cancer 30%. Derek Jones Jr. is actually 25%. So A-Town down. This is a good question. It's a good question. We can get into this kind of stuff too. We should do some live shows where we're just building the optimizer and helping, answering any questions or whatever. But depends on what optimizer we're using.
Yeah.
I would say just get in there and grind it out and see don't just click optimize with 150 lineups or 20 lineups and you never just submit that. Like you're going to want to take multiple, a lot of times I'll do 20 crunches before I'm even happy with my lineups.
So a good way to explain this. So one thing that we'll do is, I know Tyson will sort all of this, right? He'll sort it by total projections. Then he'll sort by total ownership and kind of write everything down, right? If the optimal lineup, the optimal projected lineup is showing 171% ownership, and we're trying to get different, then we can we can actually cap our building in the optimizer. Say we want to have a total running exposure at 150% and not exceed that. Then we'll get a lineup that shows 150% ownership, but the projection will be 255 or whatever. So from there, you can kind of determine where you get the best bang for your buck, I guess, getting unique, but not sacrificing too much.
Yeah.
But you just got to fucking build it out, dude. You got to grind it out. Just build a shit load of lineups.
The first thing I do is I turn off randomness. I don't touch anything, and I crunch out 250 lineups or 500 lineups, whatever you feel comfortable, whatever you have time for. And I just see where the optimizer is pushing me. And that helps you get a good idea on where everyone else could potentially be. Then from there, start making groups. Look, Fantasy Cruncher is amazing, right? It's a little expensive. If you can't afford it, Roto Grinders, Lineup HQ is great. I think those are the only ones we've used. But Fantasy Cruncher is my favorite. So they have this advanced option tab. You can go into groups And I have no groups here, but like, for example, this is fucking awesome. This is really amazing. So like, if I really wanted to say, if I really wanted to get deep into it, and I wanted to say, look, if Dame Lillard's at captain, I want to ensure that Steph Curry, I want to give him a boost on the other side, so that every Dame Lillard captain lineup that I crunch out, majority of them are going to come up with Steph Curry in the flex. Now you could just make a rule for that, but like for me, I don't like making a ton of rules, so I'd rather just let the optimizer kind of help me out. So I'll select Dame Lillard. Actually, let me get him at captain here. Is the captain at?
How many games are left? I feel like this is a really low-scoring main slate, dude.
Yeah, it must be.
315 is the optimal right now.
So you put Dame Lillard here. I make a rule that if Dame Lillard is in the lineup, I want to boost Steph Curry's projection by 35%. Right. So I did this for main slate when I was building for stacks, like I wanted to ensure that if I have Kevin Durant in my lineup, I want to run it back with Trey, with John Collins. So I just boosted all those. So I basically made Kevin Durant the key player. And if those three guys were in the lineup, their projection is going to be boosted heavily. So anyways, I could see we're boring you guys here. So if you guys want more, if you guys want us to dive into the optimizers more, we'll do that, in the future. But Ellie, talk to me here, man. What do you think this game? Let's get a prediction from you. You were backwards on your prediction last time, but what do you think is going to happen this time?
Bro, I don't know. 120, one fucking 108.
Bro, you're done, man. You need to go to bed, or you need to open up a fucking seltzer, man.
Yeah, I might just go take a shot, dude. Fuck it.
Should have done that before the show.
Yeah, I know.
All right, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys. We're gonna try to do this again tomorrow, right, Ellie? I don't know what game's tomorrow. Oh, we'll fucking figure it out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We are going live for Sunday Night Football. I think we talked about 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
So we're gonna 5 p.m. Eastern, a few hours before lock, we're going to go live for Sunday Night Football, as well as we're going to try to do tomorrow night as well. Tomorrow night, NBA Showdown as well. So thank you guys so much. Subscribe, like, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.